My name is Spencer Evans with Barefoot Beekeeping Co. And with my Hive Post program, I am working to partner with small businesses and St. Pete residents to put beehives on rooftops and in backyards all across St. Pete.
I won't be defined by your dreams, committed to my goals, yeah. Gotta do my own thing, keep up the hustling. I won't be defined by your dreams, committed to my goals, yeah. Gotta do my own thing.
Hi, welcome to Hustleburg. Thank you for sharing your time with us as we chat with entrepreneurs here in St. Petersburg, Florida. We talk about how they got started, how they built their business, and how they serve our community. I'm Brett Bittner, and I'm the host of Hustleburg, and I started Beyond Your Side Hustle because I found that most entrepreneurs lack the time and expertise to build their own digital marketing strategy and still get results. As an entrepreneur here in St. Pete myself, I love meeting and talking with fellow small business owners about what they do and sharing that conversation with you. Now, you may have noticed a few changes with the podcast lately. One of the biggest is that we're now doing video. So if you're only listening to this episode, whether it's on your favorite podcast player, radiostpete.com, or Sunshine 96.7 FM, please know that this episode and all future episodes are available for you to view on YouTube and beyondyoursidehustle.com. Just visit beyondyoursidehustle.com/YouTube to subscribe or to watch your favorite episode of Hustleburg. If you find anything of value in this episode, I encourage you to subscribe. And if you would, also rate and review the episode as well, because it sends us the right signals to know how the conversations add value for you. Finally, if you're interested in being a guest in an upcoming episode and you own a small business here in St. Pete, let us know by visiting beyondyoursidehustle.com/podcast guest. Spencer, why are you passionate about bees?
Well, it started actually while I was in law school. I was super into, just really thinking about getting into beekeeping. And being from a horse farm over in DeLand, there's not really places to keep horses or dogs or anything around here. So I kind of missed, the agriculture aspect of it. So I was looking into something I could do in my backyard. And I stumbled on beekeeping. It was kind of something that I'd always, read about, and I thought, oh, that's cool. But I started going to our Pinellas Beekeepers Association over here. They do apiary days where you get to go. It's all free. You get to learn. They hand you a frame of bees and everything. You get to really get up close and personal. And I did that in 2019. And as soon as I had my first frame, I was hooked. I was completely sold on getting into this, and not much later I got my first hive, and we've just gone from there.
Now, that's quite the departure. If you're looking at beekeeping while you're in law school, those are completely different skill sets, I would imagine.
Yeah, well, the beekeeping kind of came from law school. I was running around working and doing law school, completely stressed out. So I was looking into something that I could actually do that, would kind of make me relax a little bit. And beekeeping kind of forces you to be calm and cool and collected. I call it meditation with consequences, because when you're nervous, you're freaked out, you're jittery, the bees sense it. And that means you're more likely to get stung. So it kind of makes you get into that state of, I need to be calm, I need to be slow, I need to think. And it's really reflective and meditative, the way that you can actually just relax as you go through your hives.
I imagine that it takes a lot of mindfulness practice.
It does. It definitely does.
Now, Spencer, how are you different from other beekeepers or hive managers that are here in the St. Pete area?
Well, for one, it's just me. I'm not part of a corporation or anything. It's just me doing this, besides my day job. And another thing is that, we are St. Pete's only, I believe, LGBT plus owned beekeeping company. So that's kind of a cool honor and distinction. And we are the first to bring our Hive Post program to St. Pete. And when we launch in early spring, we are hoping, to really see that explode and to help our local bee populations here in St. Pete.
So tell me a little bit more about the Hive Post. What is that?
So what we're going to be doing is, when we kind of get everything started, right now we're in the planning phases,
Okay.
but we will be having beehives placed on rooftops of local businesses or, St. Pete residents in their backyards. And for a monthly fee, we will come and we will do all of the management services for that beehive. You don't have to lift a finger. We will, do the medicines, the treatments, the inspections, all of it. And at the end of the year, you will get to keep all of the honey that your hive produces, as well as, just to enjoy having your beehive, your very own beehive, and, the pollination and the help to the local biodiversity that comes from it.
Now, what was it that inspired you to start Barefoot Beekeeping and offering your apiary knowledge to your fellow burgers?
Well, it kind of started when I first really looked at getting into beekeeping. And the name actually came, the inspiration was from when I was a kid. I was always running around barefoot and everyone called me Frodo. So that when I told my family and my friends, I was like, hey, I'm thinking about getting into beekeeping. It was the running joke that, are you going to do that barefoot too? And I thought about it and I was like, might give it a shot. And that's kind of like where our name came from. But I was doing research into, what are beekeepers doing in the St. Pete area? And we have our hive removals and we have our honey and stuff like that. But it requires an enormous amount of expense, an enormous amount of knowledge and work and effort to really get into beekeeping. So my idea for my Hive Post program came from me looking at all of that and saying, what if I was able to just help people instantly jump into beekeeping? And I would do, all the work and everything for them. And, if they want to, they are free to join me on inspections, and I can teach all about beekeeping while we do our hive hosting. And hopefully, in a couple of years, once people are confident, then they'll want to be beekeepers themselves.
Now, who is it that needs this hive hosting and some of the other services that you offer through Barefoot Beekeeping?
Well, I would love to get local businesses involved, especially our myriad local restaurants and cafes and breweries and stuff. I would love to be able to help them to produce their own honey that they could use in their, in their services.
Nice.
Also, just for St. Pete residents, if you're, doing a community garden, or if you, are just really passionate about saving the environment, this is an easy way for you to actually be involved and to make a meaningful local impact. Each beehive pollinates anywhere from about a 2 to 6 mile circle around them. So, that area of impact is just so important to our local, local plant life. And especially in Florida, with our citrus and everything like that, we are a state and an economy that relies on agriculture. And I want to help foster, our history of agriculture here.
Now, obviously, you brought the apiary knowledge with you in what you've learned about beekeeping. When it comes to the business side of things, what resources do you have at your disposal that are helping to guide you in building this business? Are there any books or courses, business coaches, podcasts, any of those things that are helping you to succeed?
Well, first and foremost, the Pinellas Beekeepers Association. If you are even thinking about getting into beekeeping, I cannot recommend them enough. If, before you actually get into beekeeping, you spend all the money, all the time, you open up a hive, just go to one of their apiary training days. They do them every month. And it really set me on this path, just the magic when you open up a beehive and the buzz and the honey smell and everything. Can't, tout them enough. Second, as far as business side goes, Greenhouse St. Pete is actually a volunteer organization in St. Pete. And when I kind of, this idea was just a little figment of imagination, I had nowhere to go. I
Okay.
am an attorney during the day. I can do my law stuff and all of that, but I had no idea how to prop up a business or anything. Matt's, who is my volunteer, he is incredible. Every time I think I have a great idea or something, he goes, okay, but think about this. And
Right.
it's just great to have someone that can sit there and, kind of hold your hand through the process and really help you think about all the things that you're missing. Um, Third, and probably one of the biggest ones, the University of Florida. They do a master beekeeping program, and it is unparalleled. I'm currently starting the advanced level. I've finished my apprentice qualifications and everything, but
Okay.
they are able to really break down the science of beekeeping and present it in a way that, me with no scientific background can really easily digest and understand. And they have just been an incredible asset too.
Now, what is one thing that you would want every member of the Hustleburg community to know about bees or honey or beehives? I shared with you, I didn't learn until recently that a yellow jacket is not actually a bee, but is a wasp until probably the last year or so. So I imagine that you're going to definitely school me on something here. But what's one thing you'd like everybody to know about bees, honey, or hives?
I think one of the most important things is that bees are amazing barometers of our environment. They
Okay.
are the ones that they're the canary in the coal mine. They really tell us what's going on. Bees will tell you when a storm is coming, they'll be agitated, they'll tell you when um, there's pesticides in the area. And in addition, they personally pollinate 90 of the crops that we harvest here in North America.
Wow.
And they are just so integral to our survival as a species. That also, to go into, there are 300 native species of bee in Florida, which they often get overlooked, but they are just as worthy, of our attention and protection too. And the best way to help is just, plant a pollinator-friendly garden or just avoid pesticides. If everyone did something as simple as that, our bee populations, native and honeybee, would both be in a lot better state.
Now, people that are a part of the Hustleburg community already know this, but I can't say that I've ever failed at anything. I've just learned a lesson about something. And so with that in mind, what would you say is the most important lesson that you've learned thus far in your endeavor with Barefoot Beekeeping?
Well, my first year, I dove, straight into beekeeping. And I
Okay.
went from having one hive to having 5 hives in about the span of 6 months.
Okay.
Without really taking the time to make sure that I knew 100% what I was doing. And I ended up losing 3 of my 5 hives.
Ooh,
Now,
a taste of the too big, too fast.
yes, um,
Okay.
which the average loss for beehives in the United States is about 30 to 34%. So I was a
Okay.
little above that, but
Sure.
not too bad. But it was really just a testament to trying to run before I could walk.
Got it.
So taking a step back and everything and getting into, my master beekeeping program and everything and working more hands-on with local beekeepers, it really showed me, that this is not something that you master, in a day or even a year or maybe even years. It
Okay.
is always an ongoing process. There's always more to learn, always more to understand. And that's something that I really appreciate about beekeeping is that, you can never stand on top of the mountain and say, I'm done.
Okay.
There's always something new. There's new science, there's new management techniques, and it is just a truly incredible learning experience.
Now, what are some of the most inspiring things that you've had an opportunity to work on within the community, both St. Pete in general and specifically in the apiary community?
Well, I started doing my removals, and those are always so rewarding to meet new people and to
Okay.
have the chance to save bees. Um, I can't tell you the amount of times that people just spray their honeybees. An infestation moves in, and that is a hive that is completely lost. And that was something that I really got into that, what made me passionate about keeping bees. And it was something that, I really enjoyed, but it's something that you can't really do full time. You need to find other ways to, help your bees. If you just are picking up a beehive from somewhere and moving it, you're not really like propagating and saving the species. And that is kind of why I, wanted to start this hive hosting is, that is a good way, an easy way to make sure that we are spreading bees around. They're not population dense. They're not in one area. They're not only, eating off of one source, like when people send them over to do the almonds in California or something. So I think, this is a really easy way to make sure that we are doing the best that we can for our bees and for, our St. Pete community.
Now, how are you building the brand of Barefoot Beekeeping to make people aware of your offerings? I had never even thought about or could even really comprehend hive hosting until you explained it earlier. So how are you sharing what it is that you do with St. Pete?
Well, a lot of it is working through Greenhouse. They've just been so great with kind of hooking me up with other local organizations. And, I am doing my Instagram social media stuff and also just talking to different people. It's a push that I'm trying to make much more now that we are getting towards the slower season of beekeeping.
Okay.
I just find myself during the, weeks between, or in the summer, spring weeks where I am working full time and doing beekeeping. It feels like a lot of the marketing stuff kind of falls to the side, but now that we're kind of slowing down, it is definitely a time where I'm trying to pick up more and reach out more to our local community.
Now, in your wildest dreams, where are you looking to take this? And what are the things that you're doing to get you there?
Well, I would like to, I talked to Jeremy, who's at Skyway Media. He's my website guy, and he's incredible. I said that I wanted to put an infographic one day where I had every hive that I was hosting and a 2-mile radius around it. And I wanted to cover St. Pete, our whole little peninsula here. Okay. And that way that we are providing bees and pollination and honey to the entire St. Pete community. That is something, that is the dizziest daydream goal, but, hopefully one day we can make that happen. For now, it's really just getting this program off the ground. I've been reaching out to different beekeepers all across the country and really seeing how they've done it. People that have been doing this, 5-10 years or a version of it. And just kind of synthesizing all the different ways that people have been doing hive hosting programs and seeing which ways work and which ways don't. And I'm hoping, at the beginning of spring that we will be ready to go and we can start putting beehives on rooftops and in backyards all over.
Now, like me, you're a solopreneur. So how much would you say you're working in the day-to-day of your business versus working on your business to develop and grow toward the goal of that infographic where you have hives all over St. Pete and really the whole Pinellas County Peninsula?
So probably my average week, I'm only doing probably 5 to 10 hours of beekeeping.
Okay.
Pretty much every evening after work, and even sometimes during work, which I'm probably not supposed to admit to, but I'm jotting down notes. I am drafting emails. I am trying to come up with new ways and new people that I can connect with. Anytime that I see, a local business or something that I'm like, oh, they might be worth a phone call. I am taking it down and I'm making a note, or I'm drafting plans, or doing business plans, and I've probably got 17 different drafts of business plans with greenhouse, just to try and really get this off the ground, get it from something where, it's my side business while I do, my lawyer stuff, to it is my full-time job.
Got it. Now, you mentioned growing up in DeLand. Is that where you're from originally?
Yep. Born and raised in good old DeLand, Florida. It's actually Stetson University. The main campus is there.
Right.
And, growing up not 15 miles from it is kind of how I got to decide that Stetson Law would be my home for law school.
Oh, okay.
So it was just kind of one of those things where I was like, oh, it's Stetson's right here. I grew up right by it. And I've heard they have a beautiful campus over in St. Pete.
Oh, they do.
And and when I went and toured it, during my senior year of undergrad, I just knew. I was like, this is the place. And as soon as I moved over here, I just knew St. Pete was my home, that I was definitely moving here and I was staying here.
Now, when you aren't working, what are some of your favorite things to do in and around town?
Well, 3 daughters is probably my boyfriend James and my friend group. That's someplace that pretty much every weekend you could find us at.
Right.
It is just the most fun, just chill place. The games, sitting outside. That is probably our go-to. We also, probably a couple times a month or so, we end up over at Stillwater's Tavern for brunch.
Okay.
And just enjoying kind of St. Pete just has so many different, breweries and bars and restaurants and stuff. I am just not used to that, being from Little DeLand, which has one main street. We just now, I think, got our 6th restaurant.
Wow.
So, big
more
things
than a
happening over there.
one-stoplight town now.
Yeah. I think we have 4 stoplights, we're pretty serious. But yeah, so just moving over here, it's just, there's always something new to explore. There's always a new restaurant to try, or a new bar, or a new brewery. And I just love that about St. Pete. It's just, you could eat at a different place probably every week and it would take you 10 years.
Oh, for sure. What are some of your recent favorites, something that you've just discovered?
Well, so we went to Grand Central Brew House, tried it for the first time not too long ago, and that was pretty fun. I am dying to get over for their Oktoberfest special. We also went to Cocktails, which is a new LGBT bar, and it is so much fun, so amazing. I'm trying to think what else. It's, there's just so many, and
there are so many. I know.
I could probably sit down over a weekend and write a million, but it's just as soon as you're put on the spot, you're like, oh wait, I don't remember.
Sure. Now, are there any upcoming events, activities, or offerings that you'd like to make sure that the Hustleburg community puts on their calendars?
Well, not yet, but you can follow us on Instagram at Barefoot Beekeeping Co. And I am hoping to start doing a event that I'm calling Beers and Bees, or Bees and Beers. I'm not sure which one yet, but I am looking to partner with some local breweries and present, just what's so special about our hive hosting program, and the importance of bees, not only to our community, but to our basically world as a whole.
Now, for those of you who are listening to the audio only, or one of the syndicated opportunities to hear on terrestrial and internet radio, you don't have to stop what you're doing. You can find all of the show notes for the answer that Spencer's about to share, where you can connect with them on everything from Facebook to Instagram and the website. And you'll be able to find all of that at beyondyoursidehustle.com/Barefoot Beekeeping Co., just like the Instagram name that he shared, just like the website. But Spencer, where can we find more about Barefoot Beekeeping, and where can we connect with you on social media?
So on Instagram, it's at Barefoot Beekeeping Co. And the website is just www.barefootbeekeepingco.com, just to keep it simple.
That's fantastic. Well, Spencer, thank you so much for taking the time to share with the Hustleburg community all that you're doing, both for the bees and for our community and for the environment.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Hey, you did it. You've just listened to Hustleburg. Hustleburg is produced by Beyond Your Side Hustle, where we help you craft an awesome strategy for your business and build a community that supports you today and in the future. We help budding entrepreneurs go beyond their side hustle and into the business they're dreaming of. If we provided you with something valuable with this podcast, please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcast player, especially you Apple Podcast listeners. This is something that only takes a few seconds that will help us shine the spotlight on all the great businesses St. Pete has to offer and grow our community. Speaking of great businesses here in St. Pete, if you're a small business owner here and you'd like to share the story of your business with the Hustleburg community, please let us know by visiting beyondyoursidehustle.com/podcast guest. Did you know that at Beyond Your Side Hustle, we're helping small business owners reach ideal engagement on any social media platform with a free 3-week training by email? It's available for you at beyondyoursidehustle.com/3 weeks. You can also find a link for it in the show notes. Start right now to learn how you can fix your feed to serve you, start engaging on social the right way, and create a community around you and your business. The opening music in this episode is Defining Your Dreams by my friend Rhymer Educator. I encourage you to check him out on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you listen to great music. Thanks so much for listening, and we look forward to sharing with you how we do business in the Burg.